Hi, I'm Pam and I love to cook. Welcome to my kitchen. Hi, today we're going to make vegan chocolate chip cookies. I'm making these cookies with freshly ground soft white flour. Now, soft white flour is a little bit plumper and shorter in length than a regular whole wheat flour. It also has manganese, protein, fiber, and phosphorus. Now, manganese aids in metabolism, helps regulate the blood sugar, and contributes to decrease your inflammation. You could also use a whole wheat flour if you can't find a pastry flour, but I would use half whole wheat and half unbleached all-purpose flour. Or you could use a spelt flour, which is an ancient grain. Okay, now we're going to grind the flour. You turn it on first before you pour your wheat in it. Okay, I'm going to put this in a bowl. And I'm going to whisk in a half teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of baking soda, and a teaspoon of baking powder. So you want to incorporate these so that when you put the flour into your butter mixture, it all comes together. Now I use Redmond real salt for all my baking, all my cooking, everything. I love this ancient fine sea salt. Okay, so now we're ready to cream our plant-based butter. I'm using Earth Balance. You can use any kind of plant-based butter that you would like, but I like the vegan Earth Balance butter for cookies. So we're going to let this run through the mixer until it's a little creamy. Okay, now for our sugars, I'm using Sucanat and Honey Granules. Now the Honey Granules are a sweetener made from a concentrate of unrefined sugar and juice, and with a bit of honey added. Now if you don't want to use any honey, you can use a organic cane sugar. You could use white granulated sugar. So the next one is, on the bottom is the Sucanat. It's a darker. So the Sucanat contains some molasses, so it's more of an unrefined sugar than a brown sugar. So basically what we're doing is we've got the white sugar and the brown sugar for the cookies, but we're using Honey Granules and Sucanat. So I'm going to put these into the mixer and let this get really, really creamy before I add my flour. We'll let that go for a few minutes. Okay, the sugar and the vegan butter has creamed together, and I was hoping you could see how creamy it is. The creamier you get it, the better your cookies are going to taste. So now we're going to talk about eggs, because you always put eggs in cookies. But I'm using an egg replacer, which is called Ener-G Egg Replacer. And I'm mixing 1 tablespoon of egg replacer with 4 tablespoons of water. I'm going to whisk it together and let it sit for just a minute while I'm telling you about other egg substitutes. Bob's Red Mill makes a good egg substitute. You could also use chia seeds. You can mix a tablespoon of chia seeds with 3 tablespoons of water and let it sit for about 15 minutes. Or you could use ground flaxseed. You could use a tablespoon of ground flaxseed to 3 tablespoons of water and let it sit in the refrigerator for about 15 minutes. And it'll come out more of a thicker than this, but this is going to be fine. I've used it before in my cookies. You need the egg to bind everything together. So that's basically what the egg replacer is going to do, is going to bind it. And you need a binder and a fat. So we have the binder as the egg replacer and the fat is the vegan butter. So now I'm going to mix this together for just a minute. When you start using egg replacers, you'll find that some do better in other recipes than others. I like this one in a cookie recipe. It's real light. Okay, that's mixed. Now I'm going to add my vanilla, and you know I make my own vanilla. This is made out of vodka and vanilla bean. You just put your vanilla beans and vodka in a jar and let it sit for about 6 months and you're ready to go. And then as I use it, I just add vodka to the bottle. And it smells wonderful. And I also like cute little jars to put my vanilla in. Okay, so far we have our vegan butter, our honey granules, our Sucanat, our egg replacer, and our vanilla. So now we're going to add our flour. This is freshly ground soft white flour mixed with a ½ teaspoon salt, a teaspoon of baking powder, and a teaspoon of baking soda. So now we're going to slowly add this to the creamed mixture. Okay, so you don't want to mix your cookies too much, but you want to incorporate all the flour. And I love baking with fresh ground flour. You get all the nutrients. My chocolate chip cookie calls for 1 cup of shredded coconut. This is shredded dried coconut. So that's your coconut. And we have 2 cups of chocolate chips. Okay, I toasted my pecans because it's so much better when you toast them. You get that really good toasty flavor in your cookies. So I toasted my pecans and I chopped them up on a cutting board. Okay, so now we're just going to mix this together. You've got your pecans, coconut, and chocolate chips. All right, that's enough. I can get the spatula out and mix the rest of it together. So you have a thick cookie mixture. And the good thing about this cookie dough, you can eat it raw. Okay, so now we are ready to shape our cookies. I'm using about a 2 tablespoon scoop. So I'm going to form my cookie like this, put it on the baking sheet. Put about an inch or more in between them, so they don't run together, stick together. Okay, I have a pan of cookies here. Now you can leave your cookies if you want your cookies to be thick, but my husband loves these cookies and he is not a vegan, but he loves these vegan cookies. So he likes his kind of flat. So I take a little bowl of water, dip my fingers in it, and then I just flatten the cookie out a little bit so that when it cooks, it'll be kind of a little flat cookie. But you don't want to cook them too long. You still want it to be a little chewy, as chocolate chip cookies are. So now all the cookies are flattened out, and I'm ready to put them in the oven. So you want to take them out of the oven when they're still a little soft, because they're going to firm up in the pan as they sit there.